What's up guys, Jordan from Bennett's Customs. We're back on another episode working on the Hemi Coupe. We've made a full custom floor on this, lots of fabrication. As you can see here, we have brought it down about 2 inches. Because it has such nice lines and a Model A body has a dead flat bottom to them, what I'd like to do in this video is we're gonna get on the power hammer, we're gonna make some dies, we are gonna make some beads. Yeah, we're bloody cooking with fire here. And what I want to do is bring this body line up and then gradually pull it back down into the bottom here. Yeah, let's get into it. Kind of going for that, you know, Model 40, that 33 to 34 look where they have that really nice bottom curve in their doors and they kind of swoop up to this really neat splash apron that they use in between the hood and the hood sides. Let's jump over to the table and I'll kind of explain what we're going to do with our dies. Okay, so we have our sheet metal, 2 pieces for either side, rough measurements just to be able to kind of handle it. This is 1 mil, between 17 and 16 gauge maybe. This is what we are using for our profiles. By profiles, I mean the pieces that we are going to create the male and female profile so that we can actually make the bead. This is just 50 by 10 flat bar. I kind of like it. It's got enough kind of bite there to be able to actually create something. Profile gauge, this is gonna help us, you know, press it up against it and it's gonna give us a pretty accurate you know, OD of the shape that we want to create. So let's jump over and we'll make a little, we'll make a profile of it. So I don't actually have a factory bead to go off of, which I usually love to do. So we're going to use this as our profile. And once it's kind of held into place, I am kind of going up here a bit too because I want to see what the profile, you know, how much we need to go there. This one is missing a few needles, so it's probably could use, yeah, use another one. I've kind of missed a few. But you can actually just, you know, get your finger on the other side of it, make sure that you are getting it in the right spot. And we just want to make sure in our little corners that we're getting a little needle in there. Okay, so now we have the desired kind of outline of the outside diameter, so the outside of this to the sheet metal. So now we can take this and transfer it over to our piece that we're going to use as our tooling. Okay, so I want to make sure we are leaving enough room here to be able to bolt into the jaws of the power hammer. So what we need to do is essentially get rid of all this material through here. And then this is going to be our male part. The big one is the filing machine. I know Carl's got one. If anyone in Australia knows of a filing machine for sale, I would love to buy one because it's purely just a table with a file that comes up and down and you can put all different files in it. So imagine taking this, you know, putting your profile, your piece that you're trying to make the profile with, and that little file can be so accurate, which would be incredible. So yeah, if anyone in Australia has got a filing machine sitting in their shed collecting dust, please email us because I would love to purchase one.
pretty happy with the way that came out. It was pretty quick and easy to make. Probably should have left a little bit more material on it just to be able to clamp into the actual die or holder for the tooling. But I think we should be all right. So this is now the male part of this. Now we need to make the female part. So in order to do that, I'm literally just going to put this down on here. You kind of want your clearance to be almost the thickness of the material that you are going to be using. So with this, we are using 1 mil or 1.1, whatever it is. Because we want to make sure that that distance is kind of in there so that you're not going to be stretching the material. We don't want to be stretching anything here. We only want to just try to form it. So we're not going to have them come and make contact. They're just going to come down and stop and then come back up. So that stopping is going to be the distance of this plus a little bit so that you're not stretching the material. We're just trying to form it going through there.
Where?
Well, I come 40,000 miles over here to see what them pretty little lips gonna do to me, baby. But every single time that I come around, it seems you got another man trying to keep you down, baby. Well, you might think you're driving me insane, but I made the game that you're trying to play. You know, I think you maybe ought to know this ain't
So
my first.
now that we have the overall layout done, it's got a nice gapping all the way around. They are going to always need a little bit of finessing, so we set it up, put it in, run a scrap piece through. There's probably going to be a little area where it's going to be biting a little bit more than another area. But what I do want to use, you guys have seen me use this multiple times. It's that little air router. Works incredibly well, and I'm just going to use this to bevel our edges. We don't want any sharp edges on this. We want it to be really nice and soft, but then not touching too much material in the center where that's actually going to give us our profile. For any of you guys that have purchased one of these or who are thinking of it, it is the best $50 you could ever spend, and they are also the loudest tool. Other than the power hammer or maybe the noisy boy, the Sosa hammer, this thing's like next level. Like dogs cringe like 100 kilometers away. Oh yeah. They're definitely not finished. I just want to test them to see where there's bite points or if they need to be filed or adjusted a little bit more. I've just bent up a little piece at 90 degrees with quite a large radius so that I can run it through like that, which works really well, really good, really great, really well. For anyone that is wondering, this is the PHM 940. 940 is just 940 mil depth from center of die to here. So that's just giving you how much throat depth you can actually get in this machine. I think there's a 600 or a 650 one maybe, 670 I think. And then the smaller version of the power hammer, you guys have seen me use the little brother. But if you are interested, we will put the link in the description for this power hammer as well. So I'm just adjusting the stroke. So without doing really anything in a really light pass, we can already see that it is quite a little bit too sharp in here, so we're making a little bit too much contact, as well as we probably could just, that area there is just from it sitting, but you know, from a quick, really light pass, we're definitely getting somewhere, which is really cool. So just gonna run it again. Obviously I like to run it at a lot faster speed so that it's a lot cleaner, and then you won't get each little step. It'll just be, you know, back and forth, but we just want to fine tune it a little bit. Okay, so another thing I'm seeing as well, it is just making contact right here. So we want to eliminate that as well. So we will round these edges off. Obviously you can see if I just pull this up that it's still quite sharp right there. So we want to eliminate that so we don't have any issues there. But if let's just go and see with our gauge here. Obviously we have a little bit of fine tuning to do, so I wouldn't expect it to be you know, perfect by any means to what we're working with here. But if that is sort of our desired bit we are working with, so we could get a little bit more out of it, but essentially we're not far off at all. Like that's really quite close. I need to make a reference, either a fence that we're going to run at the exact shape we want, because I can't just sort of hold it in there and freehand it on a line. It doesn't work like that. We need to have some sort of fence that it's going to rub against or go up against.
All right, so I was trying to get these things really clean using a little bit of sandpaper, and one little thing that kind of worked for those who don't have a fancy file and all that, the little belt finger sander, I actually was able to stick this in the vise on full tilt. I just, you know, here's your trigger, push down. I stuck this in the vise so that I could still click my air on and off. And this worked perfectly for just cleaning the little inside radiuses where I needed them. So I knew that there was little contact points where they're a little bit close and they were pinching. And I was just able to just come in here really easily and just clean a little bit of those areas out. Another really good tip for you guys making these, I kind of just figured this out. Probably a ton of you have done it. Got my little LED light here with a piece of paper. Turn it on, we have that. I have a piece of glass. This is usually what I use when I'm cutting templates out, so I save my blades. But without breaking the glass, you can put these on. Really nice way of being able to find and get your consistency right. So if you knew you have a little tight area, you're gonna see it right away. I have cleaned these up now, and I've kind of just gone through a couple different test pieces. I'm really happy with the way they have turned out. I didn't polish them. I did say I was going to. Still could in the future. I did just clean them up with some sandpaper and then ran a Scotch-Brite wheel and just cleaned up the edges. All right, so after plenty of test and tuning, dies in, dies out, dies in, dies out, little tiny file here, little linish there. Now that they're set up, I've run a couple of pieces through. With curves, it's a little bit tough. We've really got to make sure that we kind of rounded the edges off because we don't want any of the flat bit to bite as you're trying to go through it. Otherwise, you will get lots of tooling marks. So this is essentially the panel I want to use. So we're going to be very careful with it. I'm going to try my best in order to make it work for this side. This is the side we've been working on.
Tie you to
Someday
You'll come running,
somehow
rivers calling,
you'll see
I'll be longing.
I'm free. Come hell or high water, I'm gonna make you love me. Come hell or high water, I'll bring your blue skies down. Come hell or high water, I'll kiss you and make no sound.
So we've tipped it. I've just put a little bit of shrink in this edge here just to get this to be flat again. Obviously, because of a curved tipping, it's gonna wanna, suck in. There's too much material here. I'm happy with it. It's got the right curve. Let's have, fingers crossed. Let's hope it works. Be very nice if it did. Otherwise, we know how to make a second one pretty quick. I think I know all the measurements off by head. Heart, head, mind, body, and heart. Okay, it's working. Just applying pretty light pressure on the shrinker, just in a couple areas. Just trying to give it that, return the form back that it does have. But I'm pretty happy with that. But what we could do is just go hold it up and see what it's going to look like. This is where we're at. This is excess, so I will end up trimming this now. I wanted to leave it though because I wanted to run the tooling off. Again, same with this one. Probably should have left a little bit more and run it off, and then we could have cut it. But it actually worked out really well, so that's going to be fine. So you kind of get the idea. You get it. Maybe it's a bit too sharp right there. I don't know. Probably maybe a bit more flow. Yeah, we're bloody cooking with fire here. This is good. This is real good. The only thing that's annoying is this is all in my way. So I think we're gonna commit, and I'm gonna cut this off. I'm gonna trim it and take this piece off so that this piece can actually sit where we want it. All right, so we got the body up on our little pallet with the dolly, and it's just, this is way easier, more comfortable to work on. And I've kind of got it in the right spot. So I've clamped it in. I want to leave this body sort of bead roll here. And potentially we could just go straight across from there. We don't really need to go here. I just thought where that is, it's kind of a nice area to work this, rather than having it too close. I'm just using our Clecos, and I'm just going to drill a couple of holes, and then we can remove and install the panel multiple times utilizing these. You guys have seen me use these. If you're new to the channel, these are a aircraft. Essentially, you'd call it like a rivet or a clamping sort of rivet. And what they do is they have 3 little prongs, and 2 of them come out, and they close in. And then when you put it in the hole and pull backwards, they open up. Basically, it's like a Venus flytrap. Oh! Did you hear that? Sure, this is really clean. Probably should just give it a wipe before I clamp it. All right, so body's back on. Got it welded in, full weld, hammer and dolly. knocked it out where I needed to, and finished it off with 80 grit. We had to look back at it a couple times really to take it in, and I'm really happy with it. I think it's gonna be really neat. And if Ben shoots over to the back section here, where it's blacked out is kind of the idea I have for the rear quarter that will be in a future video, but it's very subtle. It's just to kind of match this little bit of the kick up in the back of the 32 frame, and it's just like the smallest amount, maybe ½ an inch where it kicks up, and then we can blend it back into the original bead that will go around the wheel well. But, you know, just subtle things like this, we're kind of hoping that, you know, once this is all painted, again, one of those things that looks like it's almost factory. So, you know, it's pretty radical. It's, these cars, especially Model A's, have definitely a lot of flat sections in them. That bottom, again, very flat. So, you know, it was quite a considerable sort of kick up to, you know, the attitude of it. But I think just the way that this car already sits with the big and littles, it kind of, everything sort of follows to the front. You know, obviously the big jewel of this car is the Hemi that's in there. So I think it'll all tie in. We're talking about headers with this as well. He has an aftermarket set of Lakester style headers. We will probably change them, whether or not we just do a really nice header that is within the frame rail, maybe close this off with a little blister or something running hood and sides. Or if he does want to run just a grill and keep it all open, then maybe we could make a really neat set. But I was kind of thinking, you know, we have some really cool sort of lines here that we could play with and sort of a section here. So whether or not maybe we could do like some sand bent individual ones, or maybe a 2 into 1 and have a dual setup that we could then, from that dual setup, cap those off and run it into a single, similar to a Lakester style, but having 2 pipes. And, you know, sand bent, maybe matching the contour kind of slightly to it. I don't know. Lots of ideas. So, you know, obviously this car is going to evolve a lot, but it's kind of neat to be able to kind of have those options. So once the other side is done, then it's in a future video. Basically, it's just going to be trying to fix this whole body to that floor section, getting everything buttoned up where it needs to be. There's still a lot of work to that. We need to reskin the doors. Preferably would just like to find a really nice set of doors that we could just chop the tops on and put them back on. So if anyone's got 3031 coupe doors, please hit us up, because we'd probably be quite interested. Otherwise, these ones will have to get cut off and reskinned. Roof section, obviously lots of work to do in a future video for that as well. You know, if you didn't have obviously access to a power hammer or don't have one, you could create a lot of this using your bead roller. And if you don't have a bead roller, you could still kind of hammer and dolly it out. It's, you know, maybe on a future video we could get a little bit more basic and try something like that. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that. It was really fun, and, you know, just nice to get a little bit creative, and hopefully it ticks off. Maybe I'll get you guys' approval. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed the video. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit notifications, and we'll see you next week on Bennett's Customs. Oh yeah.